Good morning, everybody. How we doing? How we feeling? It's officially hump day in this short week. All right, go ahead and make sure all my levels are straight. Sounds good. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this. Real quick before we do jump into our little pre-market rundown, ran into an interesting video last night that I shared in the Discord. I highly recommend everyone checks it out. If you're not familiar with Oliver Velez, someone that I like his channel, I like the stuff that he talks about. This is a good video to watch. It's a quick little recommendation. I always share stuff like that in the Discord, so it's definitely worth being in the Discord. It's 100% free. If you haven't signed up for that already, or if you haven't joined the Discord already. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go look at our pre-market insight. On the calendar today, we do have a FOMC events in the afternoon, just the meeting minutes as of right now. And at 10, we have the JOLTS job openings. It's just normal stuff. Tomorrow, we got initial jobless claims and crude oil inventories. The crude oil inventories is moved to tomorrow, which is usual for a short week like this. And then Friday, there's the Fed monetary policy report. I have to just keep an eye on that to see when that's going to happen. All right, let's go ahead and go look at our power range report. For today, NQ future sessions power range, we got a high of 14.7772 and a quarter, or 3/4, with a low of 14.757 a quarter. When I posted this, the sentiment was long, up 0.61%, with a volume of 73K and an ATR 170.88. Go ahead and look at that chart. So you can see overnight, we had a lot of bulls come in around 3 a.m. Eastern time, and we've just been running it up. We are still extended. There's some more interesting bits to this that I'm gonna get to in the market pulse. This is what we already up to PR plus 8. And if we're looking at this like from the perspective of QQQ, matter of fact, which is the ETF of the NASDAQ, of course. This will be looked at as a gap up. Current price is right here at 362, so we've gapped up pretty significantly. It's definitely, let me see if it gives me, I don't use trading view like this that often. I know it's in here somewhere. Anyway, I just use my tool. This is a rough estimate. This puts us up 4%, which usually that kind of gap up you do. Eventually, the gap will fill. You don't know if it's going to fill today, or it could be like this back in this time period where we had to fill. It took a few days before it actually filled the gap, and then we just ran up. So it'll be interesting to see how the next few days, the rest of this week plays out, and definitely how the rest of the day plays out. But right now, there's a lot of buying. Of course, my plan is always to look for the pullback and to run my position off of a pullback. So that's what I'll be looking at the open. I'm just gonna look at for our futures market pulse. I'm just gonna kind of just look through these. If I see something interesting, I'll point it out. So ES is bullish. are above our power range. It's RTY. Got some data here missing just because this is an instance and it's a copy of the main charts. A little bit more selling, as kind of like yesterday with RTY and YM. We see we got ES and NQ that are trading in all-time highs, but RTY and YM are still holding their range. Got a nice wide range for CL. Got some nice retracement on the daily. Still got a little bit of room that it could go. It can go where it wants to go, but just looking at it from a mechanical standpoint, there is a little bit more room for it to go, for it to retrace. GC has found nice support off this pivot. Is at 1760 and a half, somewhere in that range. Below some key indicators. So not gonna speculate beyond that. Let's just keep that as a mental note. Now I keep track of GC because that was the first thing that I started trading, and I've always had an interest in trading GC, but ever since I just decided to really buckle down and focus on me as a trader versus the products, that's when I just narrowed everything down to NQ and kind of just left the other things on my watch list without trading them. And a nice range bound trading with 6E, or the Euro currency. Right. The only real significant thing that I'm looking at this morning is the divergence between NQ, ES, and RTY and YM. Yesterday, the ES, RTY, and YM, they were trading. There was a lot of sell-off, and NQ was just, there was a lot of buying with NQ, and eventually they met back somewhere in the middle. It's actually very interesting how NQ played out for the rest of the day yesterday. So let's see what kind of action we get today. We do have balance levels here at 832. I'm always keeping an eye on the balance levels. If we get some major sell-off, we do have another balance level at 780. Our VWAP and our other indicators are in the middle of that. A lot of volume dropping off. At that first balance level. So we got, looking at the volume profile, we got volume lining up right with our balance levels. So we'll see if, like this week it's been mechanical. It's been a lot of mechanical trading. We'll see if we continue that. As last week too, I did notice some mechanical trading. So a lot of things to keep our mind on this morning. I will keep the speculation to a minimum and just follow my plan and let the market do what it's gonna do, because I can't control the market anyway. So there's no need in trying. All right, let me run through my checklist real quick. Got about 4 minutes to the bell. Had to upgrade my checklist last week because I was trading and I forgot to take it out of sim mode. So it was like I only had a couple of scalps, so I didn't miss out on a whole lot, but still. Don't want to do that too often. I've actually done that in the reverse in the past, to where I thought I was trading in sim, but I was actually trading in a live account. Now, luckily, when I did that, it was a profitable, or they were profitable trades. But of course, that doesn't always happen that way. So I put that in the checklist, and which leads to, if you're not trading with a checklist or some kind of something that keeps you focused on what you need to be doing every day, before you're trading and while you're trading, I would highly recommend trading with that checklist. You can go to mp3trader.com, go to the journal section, and you can duplicate mine, or you can create your own. Of course, if you duplicate mine, definitely make it your own. Just follow everything, because what I'm doing may not fit, may not be in line with how you trade and the best way for you to trade. See, I did that. Lights are on. Turn off sim. It is off. The only goal is to trade the strategy to perfection. Always see that big picture. And I had the evaluation account. So my evaluation account is almost at the 1 month mark, or the first 30-day period mark. I'm gonna give it another 30 days. It's already served its purpose, but I'm gonna give it another 30 days and see how it. I'm still kind of. It's been hard to get big wins within my trading window. So after another about 30-ish days, and I'll see where it's at. And if I want to continue with the evaluation, with this other evaluation, if I want to we'll see. But it has already served its purpose. And the notes in the journal kind of short today. And we are open. A nice little bullish pop right before the open, which is being completely taken out. I'm not really looking for to jump in on a momentum play this morning, but of course, with the evaluation account, the goal with that is to be aggressive, to really put it to the test. So I got to keep that in mind as well. And since I know I'm going to play this already, I'm gonna make an exception to that first 3-minute rule. Let's look at the delta. Alright, getting the selling that I expected. Seeing that supported on our delta board. Trading down into that balance level that I mentioned earlier. It's pretty down there, pretty strong. See if we have some buyers sitting down there, and we do. I do see buyers coming into the market a little bit before I was expecting, or before where I had my order. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, and then I'll play it responsibly if it happens within the next couple of seconds. I'm not necessarily done with that level. It just didn't play out the way that I wanted it to there. Yeah, a ton of volume at the open today. Still have buyers sitting down here at the 837 range. Just looking at the price action, but we do have a little battle going on. There's our balance zone, our balance level. Shooting right through that. Our buyers that came in, if their stop loss hasn't been hit already, they are feeling the pressure. Still fighting back. Now, see if I put a okay. So I'm looking for a responsive long at this point. I'm not gonna play. I didn't get the response at the level that I wanted it to. It happened before I got, how's the proper way to say that? They front run me. That don't sound right, but yeah. It was a front run to where my order was. So I removed that order and decided to go ahead and switch responsive. Still looking at structure, still looking at the levels, looking at the big picture. Seeing buyers in the price action. And I'm saying all of this stuff verbally to, for myself, to make sure that I am focusing on the things that I need to focus on. And what did that give us? See if buyers can give us a push off this level. We are holding that they are holding the line. Again, NQ is trading opposite of other areas of the market. ES, we're more bullish. Got way more buyers within ES. So NQ is, as usual, playing on its own sheet of music. Same thing with RTY and YM. This is why myself and NQ get along. We just do what we want to do, sometimes to a fault, but never really to a fault. As long as you're living in your truth, you're never really at fault. All right, so we still got buyers, down here. All right, still got the battle going on. Now that I'm in this position, definitely hoping NQ decides to join the party. Also keeping my eye on the delta. Still got more sellers piling in here. Also keeping in mind the sell-off, this pullback makes a lot of sense since we are extended, and like I mentioned before, keeping and looking at it from the perspective of QQQ, it was a gap to be filled. Of course, the plan with the evaluation account is to be aggressive, and I got to remember to take my screenshots. and really put this evaluation account to the test. If definitely don't want it to happen, but if it, I don't, the strategy is not designed to do that anyway, but if it does hit max drawdown, it saves me a renewal fee, which is a positive way to put a positive spin to something like that. But as long as, it really doesn't matter, as long as I follow the plan and everything, the results are the results, so you can't get caught up on that. This is a great segue also to iterate that the Oliver Velez video that I recommend watching. Kind of talks along the same lines of what I'm doing right now, or that last statement I just made. I'm trying to do two things at one time. Let me focus on getting this. At least put the screenshot in the journal. I'll go back and put the details later. Alright, so we do got buyers making an attempt to push the price higher. And let me not forget about my targets. So we got one there. I would be looking at my mechanical areas here at 857, and then the top of our balance zone, or the next balance zone, at 884. So I got our order before that. I'm just gonna keep it the way that it is in case it runs higher. I like the way that sounds. First target hit. I'm gonna make a slight adjustment to this, to my second target, keeping the overall target where it is. If we do end up trading into new high territory, we do got to keep in mind we had a lot of shorts that came in there, so there'd be good enough reason for them to get squeezed if we start if we continue to trade into new all-time highs. Still seeing this mechanical trading. Price turned around right at the structure, as well as I have an indicator there from the Ichimoku cloud. So we are continuing with the mechanical trading. More sellers piling in. Got our support. Let's see if we trade back down to the support that was created by the pivot at 820. Again, continuing with the mechanical trading, getting responses off our VWAP and our 200 SMA. The buyers are not done yet, putting us in this small battle zone. So far in this battle zone, our delta has been hanging around between, I say probably just to keep the range wide, or between 1,000 and like 2,200. Within this 30-minute period. Ton of volume so far within this first 30 minutes. Right now we're sitting at 103K. Structurally, this is kind of setting up for another bullish pop. Let's see if we can take out the high right here at 853. Hindsight Capital says that this is not part of my plan, so I'm just saying the possibilities here. Since we do have the structure here, the support right here off our balance zone, I actually could have added another lot in right there, just looking at the price action and seeing how mechanical this is. Which I could have played that little range right back to the high, near the highs of the range. Alright, so now we got the sellers pushing it in, giving us delta of 26, back down to 25 as we trade into the structure. 24, it's bouncing around. Definitely does look probable that we will trade lower. Just looking at that selling momentum that came in. Right back down to the support, and we get buyers sitting down there still. Also, this buying could come from anyone who shorted up here at this pivot, just trying to play that range. They have to buy their way out of the position if they sold to enter up there. So our buying can come from more than buyers that are looking to enter the market. It can also come from buying to exit a position. But at the end of the day, we don't really care where the buying comes from, as long as we it lines up with what we're trying to do. But it does kind of help by paying attention to the sentiment, kind of have an understanding of what could happen where. We're still just hanging around in this range. Attempting to break lower. Delta's at 27. Just hands off the trigger now, just letting the plan play itself out, let the strategy play out, which is the goal, which is the plan for this evaluation account. Reminding yourself of the why is a great way to work on the psychological side of trading, which is where your real success is going to be. Because you can easily get, emotionally caught up in the moment and forget why you're even doing what you're doing. This definitely happened to me. Which is why I know it. Where you just get caught up in the moment and you forget about your why. So that's happened to me with this evaluation account. I got caught up in what's being printed on the charts, and I forgot that I'm supposed to be aggressive with this evaluation account and just let it play out how it's supposed to play to really put it to the test. And I missed a couple trades because of that. So if you just keep reminding yourself of your why, what are what's your goal, what's your plan, that'll kind of help you, with the emotional side when the charts are not necessarily lining up the way that you would like them to. It's all a process. You're not going to figure it out all at the beginning. No matter what level you're at, you still have room to learn new things and to progress as a trader. Just like with anything else. I love sports and basketball, so here comes another basketball reference. Just like with so right now we're watching the NBA Finals, and Chris Paul, who's 36 years old, 36, 37, somewhere in there, and he's still progressing and improving after 16 years of playing in the NBA, which led him to his first time being able to make it to the NBA Finals and play for a championship. So no matter where you are in your career, in your journey, you always have room to grow. And as long as you remind yourself of that why, that'll help you with your growth. That'll help you stay focused and stay along the path and, to reach your goals. And I didn't include it. All right, so we are getting a nice little push. Our support down there at off the 200 SMA did hold for now anyway. Looks like we are kind of turning into pennant pattern. This price can still go either way. I'm in no rush to play this to exit this position because I'm not under time restriction today, so if I have to go a little over time, it's okay. Just to let the strategy work itself out. You can view this as a strategy stress test. We're still within that first 30 minutes, so we have a lot of time. Whatever they want to do at this price, it'd be nice if they go ahead and do it and stop playing around in the zone. We are just accumulating. Market makers are building their position, preparing for the next move, getting the liquidity they need, introducing new traders into the market to fill their position so they can make money on the spread. That's the way to look at this, is just market makers doing their thing, taking care of their business. So normally they like to, build their position, hold it in a range, and then they'll take it higher, or they can hold this position, hold the range, build their position, take it a little bit lower, or take it lower, just to improve the chances. If they're assuming that they're trying to trade bullish, take it lower just to give them more, if they see orders down here, to give them more leg room to sell into strength and get the profits that they're looking for. Or they could just hold the range and then eventually take it up to sell to new retail traders that are just jumping in on popular breakout methods of trading, and pay themselves. And of course, we know that the orders that they do with come from institutions and retail traders like you and I. I don't know why my computer just kind of gave me the rainbow wheel. I don't like that. Not in the middle of a trade. The range is getting smaller and smaller. So any minute now we can see a break. Our first 30 minutes is done. That delta closed out at negative 2,300. Significantly greater in terms of size, even though it's negative to what we saw pre-market. First 30 minutes traded 138 contracts without really even moving the market. So interesting to see what they do with all of those contracts, with the market makers, how they look to make money on the spread. Just wish they kind of hurry up. Just go ahead and start playing around with the price and do something. Let me run the playlist. All right, there we go. Finally broke lower. Also reminding myself, worst case scenario here in this position, since we are in the evaluation account, is I save a renewal fee. They keep me focused and from getting emotionally triggered. It's a pretty decent worst case scenario to be in. You save a renewal fee as long as I'm following the plan and not just, that doesn't mean just, get wild and start doing whatever. It gives me my second lot, significantly drops my average price. Gives me a new target above or at this at the balance level that we just broke out of. Let's see what I want. Actually, just readjusting my targets. Based off the new data, our new position. Lower so they don't front run me, or decreases the chances of them front running if in case I do get a push back higher. Definitely see this going lower. Delta is showing me we got more sellers coming in. Slowly chopping our way lower. Means we do still have buying in this market. Buyers have not given up yet. I wish they would have taken us a little bit lower. It's nice to get that third lot filled. We also have selling into support with ES. It is a nice bullish pattern that they just painted. Maybe looking for more buyers to trap. Giving myself a mental note again, mental reminder. It's not necessarily about the P&L, so don't watch the P&L. It's about following the plan. Plan is just to let the strategy work itself out. I'm saying that because I could just look at the P&L right now and just take myself out of the trade, but that's not the plan. That's not what I'm here to do with this evaluation account. It's enough clapping. Okay, here we go. Right back into our indicators, our previous support. The delta is falling. See how low it can go. Alright, so as we're expecting, we are seeing some resistance here at our previous support. Looking to see if we create a lower high. Definitely have a lower low from that last move down. Our mechanical trading continues. Still holding on to two micro contracts. Of course, because I'm trading M and Q. So the contracts would definitely be micro. Right, still got buyers piling in here. Delta's down to 12, 11, 10. Messed up my countdown. Back to 11. Hitting our head against that balance level. Okay, might get a nice little push here. And that takes me out of the position. Alright. Positive side of following your plan. Alright, so this is why I would follow the plan. So like I mentioned earlier, the typical business of a market maker, they hold a price in this range. They're looking to make money on the spread. They got orders in here that they're filling and they're taking on so that they can try to make these people money, or do whatever they got to do. And then eventually they're gonna take the price from out of this range and move it somewhere to where whatever their target is, so they can maximize the spread, right? So sometimes they'll take it and then they'll hold it in this range, and eventually they'll move it higher because they're mostly long biased, or they'll hold it in a range and do what they did here, take it lower just to open up that spread a little bit more and then move it higher. So that's what we saw them play out today. Still very mechanical with this, so they're not doing this manually. They're running this in an algorithm and letting it do. They just, all they gotta do is hit the button and let the code run. So we're still trading very mechanically, and it's good to be on the right side of the market makers. So that is my one and only trade for the day. I still got a long way to reach the overall target of this evaluation account. So that's what I'm really looking at, because it's kind of difficult within this tight window to get that so much of a target within a small amount of time, to get that much of a profit, which is the one that I'm doing with this evaluation account. I gotta hit a target of $6,000. So within this small window, it is kind of hard it's a challenge to make that much money in a short period of time, especially with the kind of price action we've seen lately. So the plan, with this evaluation account, the plan specifically is to trade this strategy, which the strategy works off of getting in on pullbacks, and then I have set targets based off of structure and all of that stuff. And then I can share it. Then the plan is from that's the strategy. So the plan is to really put that strategy to the test aggressively, and just let the chips fall where they may. That's with the evaluation account. I'm a little more calculated with my performance account, which I did not trade this morning. I had a position lower, but of course that didn't get filled. and then I have 3 lots within this strategy. So I'm getting in on the first lot is a very small amount of contracts on that first fill, and I'm looking at this as a position as a whole, not necessarily a trade from a point-to-point trade. I'm looking at it as a big position as a whole, and then I just scale into that with a 3 lot max as of right now. That's why I got it at. That's why I have it right now. Alright, and that the timing was perfect on that because it took me right to the end of my trading window. Let's see, where's my journal? Alright, so with all of that being said, went ahead and locked that in the journal. I'm gonna go ahead and close up the shop for the day. Hope y'all have a good rest of the day, a good rest of the week, and I will see you on the next one. Trade it easy.